Cut Snake is a thriller set in the mid-70s about a young couple who are planning to get married, and then someone from the young man's past comes back and disrupts their plans for life, and it turns out that this dark past threatens not only the relationship but the lives of the man and the woman. It's kind of like a conventional thriller to start off with. As the secrets of the film are revealed, you learn that the black and whites of the world are actually much greyer.
Sparrow and Paula are in love and at the beginning of a beautiful life together.
Paula comes from a traditional family. She thinks she's quite fiercely independent and very much a grown-up and can take on the world.
Pommy, a dark figure from Sparrow's ambiguous past, surfaces.
He's quite an angry, dangerous man, career criminal. Basically tries to entice his ex-cellmate, Sparrow, back into the only life that he knows, which is a life of crime.
Sparrow is a good person, he's got a good heart, he had a very tough upbringing, which has led him to have certain defence mechanisms, one of which is that he reveals very little.
Her whole life has been very, very safe up to this point, and so she personally is very, very much tested in her convictions and her strength and resolve. If your love is put to the test, then I think you either fight for it or you run, and she fights for it.
I guess the other thing that I found very interesting was the idea of a thriller where the dilemma isn't actually the bad guy. It's actually about what is dark within yourself, what is unresolved within yourself, and how Pommy as an agent ignites this flame in Sparrow. I first encountered Cut Snake, I think in 2002, when I was directing a screenwriting competition for the Australian Writers Guild in the Adelaide Festival.
The prize was working for a week with Tony Ayres.
It was a very, very different draft to the one we ultimately filmed.
Tony mentioned at the time that he really connected with the material and if I was interested in pursuing it. At that stage, I couldn't.
I loved directing the reading, and then I forgot about it for quite a few years. And suddenly it reappeared in, I think it was 2007. At that stage, the script had evolved considerably, and I guess for me, it was something that I'd always had an interest in, and being approached again reignited my passion for it. The three central performances, I think, are the things that are what make the film come alive for me. You know, Sullivan Stapleton as the violent and villainous Pommy, Jester Gow as the very beautiful and innocent but strong-willed Paula, and Alex Russell as the central character, Sparrow, who is kind of like caught between Paula and Pommy. Sullivan was the first actor who came to mind when I read the script, and I've known him for a long time and have never worked with him.
I've always wanted to work with Tony. Through scheduling and stuff, I actually had to pull out.
Another actor stepped in, but as it turned out, at the 11th hour, that other actor pulled out and Sullivan came back into the picture.
Fortunately, it's come back my way, and we finally get to make this project.
I was very happy because he has a kind of physicality which really suits the role. He's a big man and he's got a very alpha male personality. And for the role of Paula, I looked far and wide and auditioned lots of people, and in the end I kept coming back to Jester Gow. She is astonishingly beautiful, but she's kind of quite transformative as well as an actress. We needed someone for Sparrow who had emotional depth but who was quite silent and still, and Alex has both of those qualities. We also needed someone who's very likeable on screen, and Alex certainly has a warmth as well, which was really important to us. It just felt like once I got that combination of those three characters, the film felt like it was ready to begin.
Someone said to me years ago that, the films get made by the teams that stay together. I think Tony and Trevor and I, were one of those teams. And we've been supported by a fantastic crew and a fantastic team.
My name is Simon Chapman and I'm the cinematographer.
This is the first period film I've ever been involved with, so it's really cool.
My name is Jo Ford and I'm what they call the production designer.
She is an absolute champion at making do with what she's offered by way of resources.
Jo is an extraordinary kind of visionary.
I'm Cappy Island, I'm the costume designer.
Cappy Island, who managed to give the film a look and costuming that completely belongs to the period, that is completely authentic. What's a great thing to observe in working with a director as accomplished and as experienced as what Tony is to watch him lead a team.
We have a lovely relationship because we've known each other for so long now, so I know what he likes and I can sort of preempt things with him a lot.
Working with Tony Ayres is the most fun a designer could ever have. He absolutely knew from the moment I first met him exactly what the end result of the film is that he wants to make emotionally.
He's such a giving person. He lets me run with ideas, even if I think they might be crazy, and he'll tell me when they're too crazy or they're not crazy enough.
He's the kind of director that every actor wishes that they get the chance to work with. Kind of gives you his ideas and then lets you play with it, lets you go from there, and he won't call cut. He just lets you play. It's amazing.
He really directs for the edit. He writes, just in inverted commas, what the audience need to feel and what the audience need to sense or think. It just makes it so clear and simple what we need to do.
It's a joy. He's great and we have a lot of fun.
He's a significant creative force in our industry, and I think I have a better appreciation of that having worked alongside him.
I think good work will come from where you've got good, solid, strong relationships of people who are all prepared to work together with a single vision to make the film, and I think we've achieved that with Cut Snake.
Cut Snake works really well as a period film because I think the attitudes of the people, attitudes towards marriage and sexuality make more sense in the mid-70s. It's not just the period, but it's the world of our characters as well. The thing that I really like about the way that we've interpreted period is that it is unashamedly and absolutely that. It's an interpretation. So what we want to try to do is create a feeling for it rather than it being a literal description of it. And I think that suits the nature of the film, because the film is about kind of emotions and people's feelings.
We don't want to say that it's 1975.
It's never referenced what year it is.
The audience watching it will gather something's up because they won't see any cars on the streets that were built later than 75, and the big giveaway will be the costumes that the actors are wearing.
So it's not as simple as going out to the shops and buying a whole range of clothes and trying them on the actor. It's actually finding vintage pieces, whether you hire, buy, borrow, and trying shapes and styles on the actor and then potentially reproducing that, copying that to make something similar.
There's a lot of orange and brown, lots of faded denim.
Style for men, I actually think, was pretty awesome. It all fit really well and tapered, and
I feel like I'm reliving my parents' past, of photos that I've seen as a child. And now I get to dress up in proper vintage clothes.
Another process that we went through here was me asking Tony about what adjectives spring to mind, Tony, when you're talking about your film. It took him about half a minute to come up with all these here. A domestic opera, passionate, sexy, hot.
Elegant, bold, and muscular.
You realise that some of the adjectives describe camera movement, some of them describe lighting, some of them describe design, some of them describe acting.
It's a combination of pure drama and pure genre. So the camera work is very classical.
This is the fabulous book called The Lookbook, which is Simon Chapman, our director of photography, myself and Tony, just going through a whole lot of photographers, picking the photographs that spoke to us as far as each location went.
We've gone for a fairly heightened look in terms of colour and contrast. We're sort of pushing it a little further than reality would suggest.
The first time that it sort of, it really sunk in with me was I walked onto set into Yvonne's house, and Joe had just done the most incredible job. We walked on, we're just like completely transformed, like it was just like a time warp.
The location scouting they've done is just incredible. Like, you walk into these houses, it's like stepping back in time.
There was a nightclub scene that I saw Pommy moving through this new world, this world he hasn't seen. It was such a rich visual experience.
I think I liked the anniversary party. It just sort of reminded me of, you know, going to my grandparents in the 70s and just all the colours and the food and the decor.
I'm sure the baby boomers will all go and watch it and just go, yeah, that's what it was like. I've toned it down, can I so tell you I have.
What we're doing is setting up a fight between the main two characters, which is Sparrow and Pommy. We've been able to work a garden bed into the situation. What we've done is we've dug some mats into the corners so that it protects them from sharp edges. It's just a matter of the art department and the stunt department and effects all coming together at the same time to develop what we want to do.
This one is really rough and ready, so for the most part we're handheld. It's a bit scrappier and we want it to feel a bit rough and a bit more sort of kinetic and raw, I guess, because that's where their emotional states are.
Their particular type of fighting style is street because it's 1975, because they've been in jail as well. It's really dirty and violent, really violent. We've devised it so that they should be able to do the whole fight themselves. Both the actors have had a bit of fight training before, so it makes it really easy.
So we're out here in lovely Warrandyte, and I'm rolling around on the ground with my little co-star.
Getting muddy, getting raw.
This is like a dance. We get them to work together, rehearse, fight, and they know what the choreography is. So on the day when we start to shoot it, it just flows in together and they can do their dance and make it look like they're smashing hell out of each other.
I loved the character of Pommy.
Pommy presents as the archetypal beast, a figure of threat and danger.
He really sort of jumped off the page for me as a charming, charismatic, dangerous psychopath, you know, a psychopath in love. Pommy's passion for Sparrow is so intense that he is literally willing to ignite the world for it.
People will interpret the end of that, cutscene the way they want to, but the way I interpret it and the way I'd like people to interpret it is in a completely open way, to actually go away and think about values, things like values about criminality, values about sexuality, values about love, that sometimes it just isn't possible to have it all and you have to give something.
And to acknowledge that life's complex, that in a rush to judgment, things aren't black and white, that there are many shades in between.
You know, if I've done my job properly, we'll be crying for the villain at the end.